Welcome everyone! In this video, we are in the Great League, showcasing another very powerful team featuring Sableye. Sableye on one of my favorite teams to run in the Great League this season of Pokemon Go Battle League. Sableye on the lead, strong generalist. Generally, if a Pokemon is a good safe swap, it will perform very well as a very good lead option. And I featured this team early on in the Great League, and I just wanted to remind you guys of how good it can be as we wind down the Great League for Season 14. And also on this team, Lanturn, sometimes on the safe swap, sometimes on the close. That's going to be based upon a team read, but generally the safe swap. And also on this team, Stunfisk in the back. Stunfisk proves to be an amazing closer in the Great League. Providing some much needed coverage on this team from the very strong Flyers in the Great League. I absolutely love this team for the Great League, and for those of you who may not have a Sableye, you can absolutely just use Trevenant. It will do fine. And here we go, Charizard lead, not the best lead for us, so we go into Stunfisk on the safe swap because we do outpace. And they tried to catch a Rock Slide onto a nice shiny Chestnut. So Chestnut, one of the best answers to a Galarian Stunfisk. We're going to go for the EQ with Stab, not expecting a shield, doing about 50% health. That's some meaningful resisted damage, and I'm going to put the pressure on and just go for this Rock Slide before they can take us out, potentially with a superpower. Of course, that is what they should throw in this matchup, as we would live a Frenzy Plant, and that would allow us to put even more pressure on them. So they do go for the superpower, knowing the matchup, and because they have now debuffed themselves, we're going to go for this Rock Slide and do a little bit more damage than if they had not. And now we will let the Frenzy Plant go, and we did get through a Shadow Claw. They will not make it to another Frenzy Plant. They will go down to another. So now we have a shield advantage, and we're going to look to catch what could be a Blast Burn onto our Lanturn. I was not expecting it to be a Blast Burn, as that's a very safe bait for them from that health range. And they do bait, and they make a play into a Surf Etch, so we are looking pretty good here. All we need to really do is get off a Surf, and they do let that go, so that's beautiful. So now we can farm this thing all the way down to Funky Town and shield up everything. Leave this matchup with energy to really threaten that Charizard. They go Night Slash here, so they may be running Brave Bird. And we will shield up everything because we really do want to either grab that last shield or do a lot of super effective damage with a potential Surf from our Lanturn here. This is just a Dragon Claw. They do not have the energy for a Blast Burn. They probably should have gone for a Blast Burn, as this is going, or excuse me, they probably should have farmed to a Blast Burn to get rid of us. Because we are now grabbing that final shield, and we were just 3 Shadow Claws off from the return. Shields are down. They needed a move. They were dry. We are going to say bye-bye to the Charizard, and Sableye is coming clutch. Close the game strong for us. That's going to be a good game. Well played. Man, that was definitely a team that we had no business winning against. That is just a testament to how strong this team is right here. And here we go. Shadow Alolan Sandslash. This is becoming quite popular as of late. Pretty neutral matchup. I wasn't terribly familiar with it. We don't see this too often, but they are on the rise in the Great League. So we do let through the Ice Punch, and they tried to catch a Foul Play onto an Azumarill. So we're going to align our Lanturn onto this Azumarill. This is about as dominant of a matchup as it gets in the Great League. And it does look like they're running Hydro Pump, so they're not running Play Rough. I think that's the thing with Azumarill. It's a bit tricky to run these days because with all the Flyers, you're very much tempted to run Ice Beam, but you need Play Rough for an opposing Azumarill as well as a Lanturn. So we're just playing out this matchup, and we want to really, really overload on energy. And you will see that we will actually cap out on energy here and look to go for a Surf on the Azumarill. This will be more than enough from this health range to take out the Azumarill, and we do leave relatively healthy. And with loaded energy. That was our goal in that matchup. And they reveal their third. It's a Medicham. So this is beautiful. This is some very nice intel that we can use to strategize from here on out in this battle here. They do shield out of caution. We did bait with a Surf. And now we just want to get some chip damage on this Medicham. We don't want it too healthy because our Sableye is at a health disadvantage. Tried to get to one last Surf, just could not get there. So now we're going to put the pressure on them immediately. We do have a return stored, and I do imagine they know that, and then they shield. That is beautiful. So now we are going to have to start shielding something from here on out. And they aggressively swap into the Sand Slash. So we do still have a shield advantage, and they are absolutely loaded. They have to go for this Bulldoze. It is not trending in the right direction for them, and we successfully shield up the Bulldoze. That is beautiful. So now what we want to do is overload. Now keep in mind, yes, this is a Steel type, but it is also an Ice type, and it is a Shadow. So we can go for a neutral Rock Slide from this health range and not have to waste tons of energy going for an overkill Earthquake. So that Rock Slide does KO, and we are just a few mud shots off from a Earthquake. And this should just about KO the Medicham. We do live an Ice Punch from this range, no problem. And we are going to fire off this Earthquake. It's not quite in the yellow, so I don't think it will quite KO. Does big damage, and we snipe with Sableye, taking it out with a Shadow Claw. This team puts in so much work. Such a fun team, such an effective team. Good game, well played. Proper energy management was the name of the game in that previous battle, and it absolutely paid off. And here we go, Altaria lead. What's not going to pay off is staying in on this lead right here. So we do go into Lanturn. And the reason why we are very comfortable doing this is because Altaria is not likely to have a Grass type in the back. That would make the team ABA weak to an Ice type on the lead. So that is why we did that. And they're staying in here. I'm not sure if they know the matchup. We were hoping to draw out a Steel type, but we are happy to take out this Altaria if we can. They go Moonblast, and of course that does not KO. We win this going straight Thunderbolt in the zeros, so this is why this is beautiful for us. They let that go. It does not KO, but a couple of Sparks will get the job done, and that is a massive obstacle out of the way for our Sableye. But we're not out of the woods just yet. They've got a Shadow Swampert in the back. That makes perfect sense. Altaria protects Swampert from the grass, and Swampert protects it from the steals. They shielded up that Surf as in its Shadow form. That would do tons of damage, but they are absolutely loaded as they went for an aggressive farm down on our Lanturn. So the way I like to play this matchup is I will let the Hydro Cannon go. We do survive a Shadow Hydro Cannon from a Shadow Swampert, but we will have to start shielding from here on out. We have to get rid of this thing. It is a nightmare for G-Fisk. So we will shield up this next Hydro Cannon here and fire off a Foul Play. This will likely grab the shield, as most trainers generally like to save their shields for their Shadow Swampert. The longer a Shadow Swampert can stay on the field, the more destruction it can unleash upon your team. So that is generally the strategy. And right about here, I was expecting a catch, and what we should have done to prevent this was throw one more Shadow Claw, because they were 2 more mud shots off from their next Hydro Cannon. So at the very least, we would have been able to hold on to that energy, but it's actually going to pay off here. They've got a Registeel. They caught that on the Registeel. So now the play here is there are no shields. We do live a Focus Blast. So what we need to do is fully max out on energy. We need to get to 100 energy and throw this EQ. Because they took that chip damage, this will absolutely KO the Registeel, and it will allow us to be only 2 mud shots off from our next Rock Slide. They need 2 moves to win this game. It's not going to happen. So once again, expert energy management saves the day. We're saying bye-bye to the Swampert, courtesy of a resisted Rock Slide. We knew that would KO, as Swampert is quite squishy in its Shadow form. Good game, well played to them. I gotta say, guys, the hallmark of a good team is allowing you to work out of lead losses like we did in that last one, as well as right here. This is a nightmare. Gonna check the move. It is Charm, so we are out of there just as fast as we can into our Lanturn. And they are happy to stay in, it seems. So we go into Lanturn because we do outpace, and all you need to do is go straight Surf, especially on the Shadow. They do let that go. But you do want to at least build up to the Thunderbolt, but we're not doing that here. We're just going to throw on 4. That is proper timing. If you have a 2-turn move versus a 3-turn move, which is what Charm is, and so you want to be throwing on 1, 4, or 7, sometimes 10 if you are running a 2-turn fast move like we are here. Gonna shield this up. It's worth the shield to either grab their final shield or take out this Shadow Alolan Ninetales here. They do go down on shields. That's beautiful. We'll take that. And they do farm down. So now what we can do is come in with our G-Fisk and actually go for an aggressive farm down if they choose to stay in here. Gonna let this go. It's only a neutral Weather Ball. We do survive that quite comfortably, and gonna look to farm this thing down, but they are not hanging around for a farm down. And they make a play into a Noctowl. So Looks like they were quite weak to our backline. Gonna fire off this Rock Slide here. We are well ahead on energy, so we're gonna be doing A-OK right here. And it's beautiful that they met us with this. Not sure what else they could have in the back. And gonna fire off Rock Slide number 2. You do need 3 up against a Noctowl, which is kind of annoying, but it is what it is. And now we will outpace to our 3rd Rock Slide, which we absolutely need to take out this Noctowl here. It is a not so good matchup for our Sableye. And we do take out the Noctowl. So now we will see what they have in the back. We are still up a shield, and our Sableye is still very, very healthy. It's a G-Fisk, so we're looking pretty good here. We just have to be careful of a potential catch. And there it is right there. We were expecting that. We hang on to the energy, showing excellent patience in this in-game matchup here up against this G-Fisk. Gonna fire off the foul play here. And now we're gonna have to call a bait. I think we are just about within EQ range, but you know what? Hey, you gotta call a bait. They had to bait to get that last shield, and we did successfully call that. That was really nice for us. Gonna fire off this next foul play here, and they now need 2 moves to win this matchup, and it's just not gonna happen for them. We do Shadow Claw down. And Sableye, 1 shield flexing on what seemed to be an impossible team for us in the beginning. Good game, well played to them. I hope you guys are beginning to see why this is one of my favorite teams to run in the Great League. It just racks up the wins left and right, especially when you're getting those Metacham leads. You love to see it. They make a play in a Noctowl, and we had just the answer to a Noctowl coming in the form of our Lanturn. This is why we've got these 2 Pokemon behind Sableye, guys. Sableye can absolutely shine in the Great League as long as you have the right team behind it. And if you can provide some excellent coverage to all the Noctowls running rampant in the Great League, Sableye will absolutely put in work in the Great League, and they do let that Thunderbolt go, as this is not a flippable matchup for them. So now all we need to do is spark this thing down. We will leave not so healthy, but that's okay. We've got loaded energy to put the pressure on this Metachamp. I'm not expecting a shield here, but they will get a farm down. So if we can chip away at this health, it will not allow this Metachamp to get too far out of control. Although it is relatively helpless up against the Sableye, and we do have the alignment. Oh, and they snipe with a Charizard. So this is a very popular team. It's not a Shadow. Generally, you see the Shadow in the back. This is Metachamp Double Flyer with the Charizard variation here. And now we will just bring in our G-Fisk. We do thoroughly outpace. The prospects of a potential Blast Burn, I'm not going to lie, is quite nerve-wracking. And we will shield this up. I'm seeing that they do absolutely have to get rid of this G-Fisk, as they do not have the alignment they need. So we do successfully shield up that Blast Burn. That was huge for us. Going to fire off this Rock Slide. Rock Slide one-shots Charizard 100%. It's double super effective. And now we will shield just to hang on to this alignment here. They do go for Dragon Claw there, and they are not making it to another Dragon Claw, as we did have the Rock Slide loaded. So it's over for this nice Party Hat Charizard here. We did trigger the CMP event there, and as I said, double super effective Rock Slide says bye-bye to Charizard, and now it is a nighty-night sleep type for this team. Another reason why I love this team, guys, is because that Medi double flyer line is everywhere. This team absolutely dominates it. Good game, well played to them. Oh my goodness, brings a big smile to my face, taking out that overpowered Medi double flyer line. But here we go. This is a nightmare lead, guys. We don't win this lead, but we have to stay in here and put in work on this Shadow Victory Bell here. At the very least, chip away at the health and grab a shield. They will absolutely shield. And you can almost bet the house that there's a Bastiodon in the back. So this is not winnable. We're not giving them we're not evening up the shields. Gonna let this go and come in with our G-Fisk and look to take this thing out with a Rock Slide. Now, if they double shield, that could be quite problematic for us. So really hoping they let this go, and they do. And they've got a Vigoroth in the back, so that is very interesting. And we see the Basti here. So like I said, guys, you can bet the house that there's going to be a Bastiodon behind a Shadow Vic lead. And we do draw it out with our Lanturn. So we still have a counter user that can put in work on our G-Fisk, but we are quite comfortable here. We will just shield everything from this Bastiodon and look to take it out and leave this relatively healthy, preferably with energy to put the pressure on that Vigoroth. Generally, you'll see Medicham, maybe even Deoxys. I'm not sure why you would ever go with Vigoroth over either of those two with this team. But it's a moot point. We are about to take out this Basti. I don't anticipate they will shield, as they would like to not have this hanging around for our G-Fisk. And they do let it go, so the shields are even. We do leave healthy and with energy. That's exactly what we wanted here, guys. So going to pressure with a Surf. They do let that go. And we do live a Body Slam. They really need Bulldoze to have any sort of success in this game here. But they do go for the Body Slam, and we're going to pressure with yet another Surf. If they let this go, we'll need to just get the back-to-back Rock Slides, and we will have to call a bait. So they do let that go. Not sure what they're hanging on to that shield for, but all we need is the back-to-back, and we do have to call a bait. They are at a potential Bulldoze, guys. Oh, this is so nerve-wracking, but it is just the double-resisted Body Slam, and we do make it to the back-to-back. Holy smokes. So now all we have to do is shield up this next Body Slam here, and it will be lights out for our old pal Vigoroth here. This will likely get the shield if they want to go down with the ship and put up a fight, but no, they do let it go, recognizing that it was over. Holy smokes, that was not looking too good. We were core broken by Shadow Vic, but we got it done in the end. Good game, well played to them. Oh, this team able to work out of lead losses. That is absolutely huge, guys. And here we go, Ferrothorn lead. So that I know that someone recently featured a team with Ferrothorn, and I do believe the backline has two flyers, a Gliscor and an Altaria. So that is what we're playing in mind. That's the team read that we are making, and we can do just fine here. We reach our move at the same time that they reach theirs. So we do shield up the first Power Whip, and we are going to look to get in some foul play damage on this Ferrothorn here. It's going to be interesting to see if they want to shield this, because if they have the backline that we're reading, they shouldn't be going down on shields here. And we will let this next Power Whip go, as we will make it to a foul play in time. It will not quite KO. It does come down to IVs, and generally most Ferrothorns have decent PvP IVs. So it doesn't quite KO, and they are going to throw a move. And another wacky thing with this team is they run Mirror Shot. You don't want to be running that in the Great League, guys. I'm telling you, it's just not a good move. So now we can just farm down. Reading that there's a Gliscor and an Altaria. There's the Gliscor, nice shiny Gliscor here. And we are up a shield. So we're going to throw this Rock Slide. This is not a Shadow, so it's not going to be doing nearly as much, and we're going to bank that second Rock Slide. Now, they generally go right for the big EQ if they see something like a Lanturn or a G-Fisk, so that is an amazing shield right there, and here's the Altaria. So our team read was accurate. It is the Ferrothorn team that was featured by a fellow content creator not too long ago. And we do win this in the zeros, as we saw in a previous battle, no problem. But we do want to leave this with energy. If we can get off a super effective Surf on that Gliscor, that would be massive for us. So the Moonblast does go through, and we are just going to max out and go for the Thunderbolt here. I do believe it will just about KO. Yeah, it does KO that Altaria. And oh my gosh, can we make it? We do make it to the Surf. Holy smokes, those rank 1 IVs coming in super clutch. It doesn't KO because it is a Shadow, but we can easily combo play, as we did bank our Rock Slide just in case we needed it. We are saying bye-bye to the Gliscor. And my goodness, this team just puts in the work. Battle after battle, you love to see it. Good game, well played to them. That last one was a lot of fun. And here we go, Trevenant lead. You absolutely love to see it. If I ever see a Trevenant lead, I'm reading that this is a variation of the very team that we are running today. Before I began running Sableye with this team, I featured Trevenant with this team many times in the past. So that is a team read I'm making. It is a very strong and solid team, just as this one is with Trevenant. And like I said, if you guys don't have a Sableye, you can run Trevenant and do just fine. So that is what I'm reading. I'm reading that it is a carbon copy of this team, only with the Trevenant variation that I have featured in the past on this channel. And we do win this pretty easily in all even shields as we do farm down. So there's a G-Fisk. So I'm absolutely reading it, that there is a Lanturn in the back. So what we're going to do is just fire off the foul play. And we do make it to another one. Rank 1 Sableye coming in clutch. And it'll be interesting to see if they want to shield this. They do not. That's fine. So we're going to aggressively swap into our Lanturn because they are now in surf range here. And they almost always bait the Lanturns, guys. We are not falling for it. Just a rock slide bait. You'll love to see it. And we will fire off of this surf here, keeping the shields even. And this will KO the G-Fisk if they let it go. But they shield. So very interesting. We're just going to look to take it out with another surf on the CMP. I don't know if they are familiar with this matchup, but Lanturn absolutely wins CMP tie. We're saying bye-bye to the G-Fisk, and there's the Lanturn. So my team read was accurate. This is the older variation of this team with Trevenant. Trevenant still works just as good. They both have their merits. I'm not going to say one is better than the other. Yeah, if you're running this variation, you're going to have a little bit of an edge on the Trevenant variation that I have also featured on this channel. They go Thunder, but it doesn't matter. They have no shields, and we were going to make it to an EQ and KO that Lanturn. That's going to be a good game. Well played to our opponent. My goodness, battle after battle, this team racks up the wins. I hope you guys can see why. It's one of my favorite teams to run right now, and here we go. Another Shadow Alolan Sandslash. We saw this earlier in the video. Very neutral matchup, so going to fire off this foul play and likely pressure a shield as it is quite a bit more squishy in its shadow form. And we do live in Ice Punch, but I do believe we end up shielding, or no, we do let it go. So I'm reading, the last one was Shadow Alolan Sandslash with Medicham and Azumarill in the back. So I see no reason why it wouldn't be the same team. So we just come in with Lanturn and look to get ahead on energy. So there's the Medicham. So now we're reading Azumarill in the back. And we're just going to look to put the pressure on this Medicham. We do have the shield advantage and the energy lead here. And they do let the Surf go, so that is okay. Going to fire off the Thunderbolt and see what they want to do. If they have the Azumarill in the back, they'll likely want to preserve a shield here. And it does look like they do. So what we're going to do is catch the potential Psychic onto our Steel-type G-Fisk and preserve our Lanturn for what could be an Azumarill in the back. And we do catch that resisted damage. You love to see it. Now we are just going to look to fire off a Rock Slide. Gonna shield. We gotta start shielding at some point. It's a decent shield here. We don't want to get too low. And the CMP tie was triggered, so this Rock Slide will KO the Medi. They do not shield that. And they come back in with the Alolan Sandslash. So we gotta shield up the Bulldoze, and we've got two very tanky, healthy Pokemon remaining for what I'm reading as an Azumarill in the back. Gonna fire off the Rock Slide. And again, as we saw in the previous battle, this hits for neutral damage and will KO the Alolan Sandslash. But it's not a Trevenant in the back. Holy smokes. Or it's not an Azumarill, it's a Trevenant. We were reading Azumarill. That's what we had been seeing all day with this team, and now it is over. Holy smokes. So it turns out it wasn't an Azu in the back, and there was just nothing we could do there. It's actually a variation on team number 1 from my top 5 best teams, but instead of Basti, they were rocking Shadow Alolan Sandslash. You love to see it. So that is the team. As we can see, a nice, beautiful Lapras here going into a Pokeball. So guys, yeah, I just wanted to showcase this team one last time this season of Pokemon Go Battle League, just so that you guys are aware. I'm not sure if most of you have already seen the feature on this team earlier in the Great League, but I wanted to showcase it one last time just in case you guys missed it, or maybe you wanted a little bit more data on this team. It's a very powerful team. It's one of my go-to teams in the Great League when I'm not recording videos for you guys, and hopefully you can see why. The team was able to overcome lead losses and just rack up the wins in general in the Great League. But guys, I had a blast. I hope you all enjoyed. As always, I thank you for watching and keep up the grind. Thank you, guys.